Melissa, a longtime former Amazon employee. You worked there for many years. As somebody who's been covering the company for a very long time, this certainly came as a surprise. We knew it would happen eventually, but now, curious for your take.
Yeah, I think that, there was a signal when Jeff Wilke announced he was retiring that he wouldn't be the pick. That was about a year ago. So kind of knew this was coming, that there'd be a successor. And Andy Jassy is just, he's been with Amazon since 1997, the inception of AWS. He led that, arguably Amazon's most profitable and successful business unit. So I think it leaves Jeff Bezos able to concentrate on building rockets and the things that he wants to do with someone at the helm that he can really trust and, can really tackle the big problems and opportunities that Amazon has ahead for them, like healthcare, like, logistics delivery. They've just got a lot of great inventions and innovations to do. So I think Andy Jassy will be a great leader to do that.
That said, Jeff Bezos has been so involved at Amazon proper for so long, and it still seems he's very much in the weeds with his question mark emails. So I wonder if it's at all surprising to you that he is leaving now. We know he has other projects, but he's had those other projects for quite some time.
Yeah, I think that, he wrote in some of his letters that he sent out to folks that, he feels like it's a time that he wants to focus on these other areas. He's not retiring, quote unquote, but really, and I wouldn't be surprised if he isn't still involved. He just might not, he might not get a Jeff email. Now you'll be getting an Andy Jassy email. So yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit then about how Andy Jassy leads. I sat down with him a couple of years ago for a long form interview. We know he's got that relentless focus on customers, that same relentless focus that Jeff has. What kind of a boss is he, and what kind of a boss do you think he will be while running the entire company?
Well, look, I mean, all of those leaders and the executive team and in general, there's just so much discipline at Amazon on execution. They really have a great process around creating leadership principles, executing on them, creating goals from the top that roll down. And so, that's no different with Andy Jassy. I think that, he has proven himself in building an amazing business with AWS. And I think that he'll be able to deliver that same discipline across Amazon. So, yeah.
Sometimes at a loss for words. It is such a big deal. We do have this quote from Jeff Bezos to staff that you referenced, saying, "I intend to focus my energies and attention on new products and early initiatives. Andy is well known inside the company and has been at Amazon almost as long as I have. He will be an outstanding leader, and he has my full confidence." We've been talking about a lot about the regulatory issues that Amazon, we expect, will face over the next couple of years. We saw Jeff Bezos dragged before Congress last year. We've seen lawsuits filed against Facebook, against Google, and Amazon could be next. And I wonder how you expect Andy Jassy to navigate those issues, given it could be his number one issue for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and I think that that's where Amazon is going to be focusing maybe on less of the hot topic areas, the areas that they get in trouble with around private label and things like that. And so I think that we'll see maybe some less focus in those areas where they've had some pressure against them. And I do think that Google and Facebook are ahead of Amazon in some of these antitrust issues that they're facing. So, my guess is that Amazon will focus a little bit less in those hot pressure areas and more on some more wider plane areas that they'll maybe get less in trouble with.
What does this mean for AWS now that Andy won't be the, sole leader of that business?
I feel sorry for the person that's going to fill that role. He's going to know a whole lot about what to ask, what questions to ask. But I think that given, Amazon has a great way to promote within their organization and company. I'm sure that they've identified a leader that will take over that business, and Andy will know very well the questions to ask. And like I said, they're just very disciplined in their quarterly business review, monthly business review, and their financials. They have a really great execution method around understanding the business unit, and so they're a very well run company and execute very well. So I think that they're not going to have any issues with a leadership change like this.
Oh, okay. Meantime, I do want to touch on the numbers, which is what you initially agreed to join us to talk about. Amazon projecting revenue that signals continuing strong e-commerce demand. Of course, the big question is, when we come out of the pandemic, when we settle into whatever new normal is, does Amazon growth take a hit? What is your outlook?
No doubt. I mean, this year has been huge. They've had so much growth acceleration due to e-commerce, and perhaps that slows a little bit next year. It's hard to comp a year like this year, but you can't argue with just the acceleration of e-commerce in general, the Prime subscribers that they have. When we look at the earnings report, their other category was up 64% this quarter. That's the advertising revenue, and they had not just a big quarter just in general, but advertising was huge too. So, they have a lot of opportunity heading into 2021 with these numbers.